Life is a random, fragile gift. We know that intellectually, but while we're healthy and active and having a good time, that intellectual knowledge sort of sits way at the background. It doesn't really surface in our daily thoughts. A diagnosis of a cancer or similar terminal disease makes you realise that, yeah, it is random, it is fragile, and it can happen to anyone at any time. You really just don't know what that curveball's going to be, what's around the next corner. I like to keep my mind working. I do the cryptic crossword. I read. I'm in a book group, intellectual games and exercises. Yeah, so I like to keep my mind active. I turned 70 this year, and I've been married to my husband Ian for 38 years. I've got 2 sons, and I've lived here in East Melbourne 13 years. And I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma at 69, and that came as obviously a huge shock. I wasn't on any medication, I was fit, I was healthy, I went to the gym 5 days a week, and then out of the blue comes this diagnosis. It's incurable. That's the first devastating thing you hear when you get the diagnosis. So I was put on a venetoclax clinical trial, and it was just almost miraculous. The treatment worked. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. After 1 month, the blood counts were effectively normal. But obviously I'll have to remain on this trial for years. A lot of people are reluctant and unwilling to participate in palliative care because it seems like something only, the people with very progressive disease or terminal would participate in. But I had heard and learnt a bit about palliative care and knew that it was really just palliation to deal with symptoms and to make people comfortable, make them feel better. And I'm the kind of person who will give anything a go, why not? So I then, I said yes, I'll be involved, and I've had several consultations with Dr. Joanne Sear at St Vincent's Cancer Centre, and we just have really nice chats. And I asked her early on what kind of death it is when, if you die of myeloma. She reassured me actually by saying it's not a nasty, violent one, it's a fairly quiet exit. So it's like having another health advisor, apart from your own specialist and your own team. So that's been really good. It's been a really good addition. She also gave me the documentation for doing advanced care planning. It's really difficult to focus on and visualise the end. There's an unreality about it while you're still fairly healthy. But I think advanced care planning makes you sit back and look at the sorts of things that are important to you. I want to be at home, I want to be with family, I want to be treated if it's going to have an effect, if it's going to improve my well-being, improve my comfort, but not just to prolong my life. It's important to think through these things and not just let them creep up on you. And suddenly decisions have to be made and they haven't been thought about.
Plates slid out of her hands, bubbles flew left and right.
The good thing about the support groups is hearing other people's experience, how they dealt with things, how they deal with niggling little side effects of some medication, judgment-free. It's all very relaxed. I find that it sort of complements the more scientific, professional side, when you're dealing with the medicos. It's a lovely old guy, he's 90. He hasn't been diagnosed for very long, and he does his blood counts as he graphs them, and he always shows us his charts. People just sharing and I think just being reassured that you can still live a normal life, obviously, and it's not the end of the world. There is a sense, I think, amongst people who don't know about palliative care, that it's when everything else has either failed or been rejected, declined. Whereas in fact it's a whole lot of things for people who have a condition or symptoms, and for whom all sorts of measures can assist in improving their well-being, both physical and mental, and emotional. I don't want any more treatment, therefore I'll have palliative care, as if it's one or the other. It doesn't have to be an intensive thing where you're getting palliative care as a substitute for something else. For me, I feel it's complementary and very worthwhile. Yeah. It's hard to see it as reality until you've got a diagnosis, I guess. But yeah, it's very important to think how do I want to exit? Because we all do.